what we did in this paper really was put together 3 different sources of information. We took whatever available information we could get from these monitoring networks that governments are routinely operated, and then combined it with a satellite-based estimate of air pollution, and another product, which is what's called a chemical transport model. So these are physical models that simulate the production and dispersion of air pollution around the world. We put all those sources of information together, and what we came up with is our global estimates of air pollution at quite fine spatial resolution. So we actually have 1.3 million cells around the world where we have unique estimates of the air pollution. We hope this work will be useful for is really trying to understand where in the world we have the most important problems in terms of air pollution. So one of the things that actually was done with the results from this paper was to use them as part of a very large global project, which really tried to look at risk factors for death and disability all over the world. And air pollution is actually one of about 70 different risk factors that was looked at. And in that exercise, the estimates are that air pollution would be associated with more than 3 million deaths per year around the world. Some of the pollutants that we're most concerned about would be small particles in the air. These particles are actually quite similar to particles that we would see from sources that we know are harmful, like cigarette smoke. 90% of the world's population is living in places where the air quality exceeds a health-based air quality guideline. That's also quite important, and it really, I think, puts the issue of air pollution in perspective relative to other risk factors, other causes of death and disability that we actually know much more about. We're also seeing very clearly that air pollution has certainly local and regional components, but it also has a global component. So the air pollution that is emitted in Asia blows across the Pacific and eventually affects the west coast of North America. Pollution emitted from North America eventually blows and affects Europe. So air pollution isn't something that we can just think about as a local problem. What really excites me about this work is that it's being used in these global disease burden estimates. And we really made some big advances in the understanding of air pollution in relation to global disease by extending previous estimates to the whole world. Previously, they'd been limited just to large urban areas. Also, to have this very fine spatial resolution, and that means we can really align air pollution estimates with population density in a much better way than we were able to do before. So I think it improves the quality of these estimates, and that means that number, those 3.2 million deaths per year, we feel a lot more comfortable with that number, a lot more certain about that number than we had in the past. Well, it was incredibly gratifying to hear about the ES&T Top Paper Award. It was interesting that all of the work actually that went into this project was not funded. This is all actually the work that we're doing in the evenings and the weekends, volunteer work for this large burden of disease project. So it's nice to see it being recognized as high quality work, especially by a prestigious publication like ES&T.